What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Breaker Bros, and this is an instant reaction to the Kansas City Bengals game, 25-17 loss. And that's basically, I'm pretty sure the Bengals are out of contention for the playoffs now. So it's basically
they're out.
On to next year. But It started off really well. It seemed like we were going to have a chance, and then it was basically nothing after the first quarter and a half, pretty much.
Yep.
I was just it felt like on Kansas City side. I mean, yeah, they won, but they kicked a lot of field goals. Like, it was just so many.
Yeah, I mean, for how bad the defense, has been portrayed with respect to stopping the run, which I think was the Achilles heel again. I mean, they did their job essentially. I mean,
not really, because they gave up 130 yards. So it's like,
yeah, but I mean, 25 points when your offense scores 0 in the second half, right? It's pretty good. I mean, it
could have been worse.
Browning is not a guy. He's a backup. I mean, he's just not good. He just sees a blitz. Well, he either doesn't see a blitz and just gets crushed, or he sees a blitz and he craps his pants and he holds the ball and gets sacked. So,
no, I mean, if you're looking at the last drive, I mean, the offensive line just caved like crazy. Like, he didn't have anything. They were showing the replays and he didn't have anything. And then in terms of just staring down the receivers, I have no clue what you're talking about, because like literally throughout the first couple of drives, they were just showing him going down his progressions. So it's just it comes down to them not being able to protect, and just I'm assuming they're just very predictable when it comes to certain things, because it's just, I mean, that just feels like the Achilles heel. Maybe if this is a game where we have Burrow, that might be enough to overcompensate a few things. But
I mean, if they had Burrow in this game, they would have won by 30. I mean, the Chiefs were vulnerable, and Browning couldn't make them pay.
30.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Maybe we got to
scored 35, 40 points against this Chiefs team.
How?
Because
what would have been different?
Burrow, he makes you pay.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I'm not. I don't know. There's really not that much to say other than it just is been basically the same story all year long. I mean,
yeah, I mean, feel like it's like going to be a repeat of last offseason. It's like, well, what do we need? Well, we need a tackle, and we need
well, there's going to be question marks at tackle for sure, because I don't know if they're going to re-sign Jonah Hill.
Oh, that's what I mean. We need a tackle, right? Either they re-sign him or they get someone else, but he's not guaranteed to come back, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how much he's looking for, but I don't know. I feel like he's going to price himself out of what the Bengals are willing to pay him. But yeah, no, I agree.
No, I mean, I'd pay him. I don't.
I think there's definitely gonna be some questions about the offensive line. I think if the
but I guess he's capped, right? You can't pay him more than Orlando Brown, right?
Well, you're definitely not going to pay him more than Orlando Brown, but like, I just definitely
somebody
don't think
else might
get paid as much as he's getting right now. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in my head, for some reason, I think he's getting like 13, maybe 15 million. But it could be less than that. I know he was. Actually, it might be less than that, because he took they did the 5th-year option, right? So it might be around 11 million. I mean, yeah. I guess if he's willing to sign her for around that much, then yes. Anything more than that, then I doubt it.
Yeah, we're going to the off season. Let's back up to the reaction, right? First of all, congratulations to the Chiefs. Congratulations to the 12th man. The refs did their job. Bogus intentional grounding. Didn't call offsides on the Chiefs, so make up for the time that they did and took away the touchdown.
Or how about the
I
time
don't.
where Mahomes jumps out of bounds and they give him the extra yard?
Yeah, because the crowd booed.
Well, I just saw that ref come in at the end, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's that same guy that
They
just
airdropped that ref from the back right end zone, and he came booming down the no, first down, first down, first down. But all joking aside, I think that despite the fact that the refs, aside from the refs sucking, I don't think that it mattered in this game. I think the Chiefs would have won
true.
anyway. I think that basically once they started blitzing, they overran the offensive line. They completely made Browning. I like to use the term crap his pants because that's what it felt like he was doing. So basically, the Chiefs made him go potty instead of playing quarterback. I don't know. It's just like at the beginning of the season, we were like super hyped about like the thought of like Higgins and Chase and Burrow, and we didn't get that all season. And we didn't get much of even Higgins and Chase together. And this game, it seemed like both of them were hurt. So I don't think that we had.
I don't think either one of them were at 100%.
Yeah.
Because it seemed
So
like
so it's unfortunate for that.
Higgins like tweaked something early on, or early in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the officiating. I mean, they got to do something with that as a whole from like from a PR perspective, because like they got to make it seem like they care.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
or that they're actually actively trying to do something to, because like the Detroit game, I'm not sure if you watched that game last night. That was like by far the most bizarre.
Yeah. Well, there are two facts, right? One, the NFL officiating has gotten worse. There's been a lot of player outcry about it, which never happens because they get fined for it. And two, gambling has been legalized in practically every state in the US. So I wonder if there's any kind of link between gambling and the refs being bad. I mean, if there was only something, right? And I think that's going to be an ongoing problem. And I think that if you look back at the NBA when they had their big cheating scandal with their ref, that I think part of the reason why he got away with it for so long is because I don't think the leagues want to catch. I don't think the league wanted to catch Donaghy or whatever because it looks bad, and you're literally just pumping gambling, right? Every single game, every single podcast about the NFL, except for this one, is like sponsored by some gambling site, right? So the
like,
NFL is pushing gambling hardcore.
So
yet,
for those that are just happening to come in, or a few that's here, we're not blaming the refs for the Bengals losing. We're just speaking.
Oh no! Congratulations to the Chiefs. They would have won regardless.
How bad the officiating's been in general, just throughout the last, in my opinion, the last 2 or 3 years. It's not just this year. I think it's just people are being more vocal about it. But we were just the game last night with Detroit, where you can literally say the officiating handed Dallas the win. I mean, if you want to, that's probably the closest game you could say that they literally. I mean, any of those other games that comes down to like the very last play and the call goes a certain way, I guess those are the games that you could say officiating literally is dictating the game.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, like I feel like they got to do something PR wise where they got to get like a third party in to say like, hey, this is what we're going to do to correct it. Because I get the officiating is a third party in general. That's the way it's set up, but they need like another outside party to like control that party, because it's like.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say the same thing I always say. The number one thing they need to do to fix it is stop putting refs on TV. Do not show them. They work out. They wear tight clothes. They practice their moves. They think that fans want to see them on TV. We do not. Stop putting them on TV. Go Madden video game style. Just show a banner at the bottom of the screen. What happened as you're showing the replay? Boom, we're done. That's all we need. We do not need to see these guys. And I think the less you show them, the less that they're going to feel compelled to influence the game, you know? And also, yeah, I mean, you should investigate them. You should be watching out for gambling, because I just think that there, again, two things are happening at the same time. The officiating is getting noticeably worse, and gambling is getting noticeably easier to do. And as the NFL keeps taking money from gambling, they need to protect their fans, because those are the people that they're pushing the gambling on. And, personally, I would not gamble on NFL games, because I don't trust it. Personally, I don't trust it. There's just too many fishy calls going on. So would the Chiefs have lost the game had that intentional grounding not been called? No. Did it influence the line? I don't know. That's for you to decide, right?
Well, whether they win by 8 points?
Yeah, 8. That's weird. They covered. Huh.
Yeah, I was going to say they covered.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. That is interesting. I think that's the thing you should pay attention to the most, is the spread.
And yeah, exactly. Right.
The teams either cover or like, because 7 points is a pretty big margin. Like I can see why they would say Kansas City is a better team, especially with Patrick Mahomes. But I didn't.
Yeah, of course.
Points. I was saying is maybe more like 3, 2.5. A field goal type whatever. I mean, I guess apparently they did win by 8, so I guess they were a lot closer than what I thought they were. But I don't know. It was just I felt like the game. I mean, overall, it was a pretty ugly game. Like, it started out pretty good on our side, but then as it went on, it became like a one-sided slugfest. I felt like, because it's just like we weren't really doing anything on offense, and then it became a situation where if you're not doing anything on offense anymore, that's when they're going to start hitting those big plays, because you just keep giving them big opportunities. And then plus, I feel like Kansas City missed a few opportunities. They still had a lot of drops.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, there was a period of the game where it was like, if Kansas City receivers would catch the ball, they would have completely blown the Bengals out of the water. They looked like they would have scored 21 points on just drop passes, right? I mean, they weren't necessarily touchdown passes, but they were huge plays that were just dropped, third down plays that were dropped. Yeah, I mean, there's that, and then there's the other thing where, like, I just, like, for the life of me, I can't figure out what Chase Brown needs to do to get more carries. I mean, he comes in, they give him a screen, and he, made a huge play, got like 15 yards, and then they promptly took him out and then put him back in. And it's just like, he's got the speed to break the game open. And if you got a quarterback that's struggling and you're not able to get big plays through the pass, you're not able to pass at all. I mean, why would you not leave him in there? I mean, I don't understand. It's almost like, our coaching staff only wants to win one way. And if that way doesn't work, they just refuse to take what they can take, right? I mean, it's just like, you got a guy who can break big plays, and instead you put in Travion Williams for Lord knows why. Why is Travion Williams even in the game? He's done nothing all year, Well,
I think he's considered our best blocking running back.
Well, he made one killer block, and then the other few times he didn't do much of anything.
It seemed like we were having a lot of issues when they started to blitz, especially their safeties, because that last series, I think Reed had 2 sacks.
Well, it's because they figured out that Browning doesn't even look over to the right before he snaps the ball. I mean, the guy snuck up and just ran in and sacked him. He didn't even notice.
No, it's because they're just calling the wrong play versus what is happening. It's easy.
Well, isn't it the quarterback's job to get him out of a bad play?
Well, it's tough because you only have 3 receivers. Because like the last couple of sacks I paid attention to is just like they were all covered, the 3 receivers. But it's just like if you're
Yeah, but you shouldn't
you're
take the
gonna
sack.
expend well that's
You
the
can't
thing.
take the sack.
What is he supposed to do? They're
Throw it
just
hot. Do what Mahomes did. Throw
and
it
then get
5 yards
get
short.
an intentional grounding called on him. I mean, he
Well, I
tried.
mean, you gotta skip it to the receiver. I don't know. I mean,
It's not a very
an intentional
valid,
grounding is equivalent to getting sacked, except you don't get hit. So you gotta at least take the chance.
but I think that's it. It's just you gotta call either some type of quick slant or maybe like a screen or something. Especially
Yeah,
when you got
but isn't it
I
the
think a
quarterback's
screen.
job to see the blitz and check out of it and get you into something that can go against that blitz?
Right, but if there's only 3 receivers, that means there's 8 or I guess 7 people blocking, right? So that's basically max protection. So if you're using 7 people to block, you would expect them to hold up a little bit, and they didn't even get that. I think that's the problem. It's like if you have that many resources to protect, they got to at least hold up at least 2.5 seconds, and they weren't even doing that.
I don't know, man. I think you gotta run it or do something different
And I think part
with
of
a
it
long
too is
play.
just the running backs weren't blocking that well. It's like that's
Again, why is Travion Williams in there then? If he can't block,
well, one of
then
them was
take him
Travion
out.
Williams, and I think the other one was actually Mixon. So
Okay, again, same point. Why is Chase Brown not in the game?
because he's not that very good of a blocker compared to the other two. So why
The
would
other
you
guys
keep
didn't block though.
okay, but the problem is your point is like, well, I agree. You want to get him touches, but those are not the plays. If he's going to be in there in max protection, then he's not going to get the ball regardless. You're just going to waste him. You're just going to put him there
Then
to
stop
pretend
running
to
max
block.
protect. It's not working.
I agree. When you have those long developing routes, that's the problem with what they're trying to do. Well, and another issue is that because they were giving up so many sacks, they were always in those long conversions. So they do have to do those long routes. I don't know. It's just not a very good situation to be in because
No.
I think if anything, they could do a little bit better, especially sometimes in the situations that you got to create like those short and mid routes, not like those long, like because like it's like they're waiting for them to do like those 20-yard digs or like those 15-yard outs or
Yeah,
whatever. And it's
I
just like
mean, there's
takes so
something
much to develop.
structurally wrong with the offense in the sense that
That's what I'm saying. Like they got too
they do
predictable.
hit big plays, but they get the quarterbacks that play in this offense get the snot knocked out of them. Like, I don't think Jake Browning could make it through a full season. You put anybody back there, they're going to get killed because they just put the quarterback in peril too much. And it, I don't know what it is, but I know that it is, and it's like a fundamental flaw to the offense. It's just you get the most important position, the most difficult position to replace. They just get kill shots. Speaking of kill shots, why did they not throw a flag when Boyd got hit on that 4th and 18?
When he converted it,
Yeah, he got absolutely wrecked. Helmet to helmet shot, defenseless receiver, no flag.
I didn't see that, but I think on the same pass around the same time, Jake Browning got hit late and they didn't call anything, which I thought was kind of
Yeah. He got hit late a couple times where they did the full body weight
yeah, I was
landing
gonna
on
say
him, right?
it was like kind of questionable about the time he got hit, but then the way he got landed on, which should have been a clear foul. Like
Right.
if you
No,
want to
I
take out
mean,
the timing aspects, because if you hit late, it doesn't matter. It's like you're hitting them so late that should just be a foul. But if you're falling on them on top of everything, like that's also a foul. So and plus, I feel like they weren't calling hands to the face.
no, I mean
Like a
Kappa
lot
got
of
poked in the eye.
well, that plus our defensive line. I felt like a lot of our defense. I saw Hendrickson a couple of times got looked like they were pushing his face mask.
Mhm.
Then a few of our other defensive ends I saw just randomly. It just seemed like they
Like I said, 12th man had a good game for the Chiefs.
yeah.
Showed up a little late to the party, but they figured out how to help out a little bit, get that cover.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think if anything, if this year proved anything, same thing with the Chiefs. Is just the teams that were doing really well the last couple of years. It just seems like they didn't adapt enough, and it seems like there's other teams in the league that, I guess, are ahead of the mark in terms of where they need to be. So it's like I think going into the offseason, I think there's going to be some major, I guess, philosophy changes because it kind of to what you're talking about. Like, there's got to be some type of identity, and it starts with the line. And I think they just need to, I guess, focus on the run and make
Yeah.
it more part of the game. And I think
hmm
there's,
If you, I mean, first of all, like you got to win an AFC North game.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, you got to. I mean,
Well,
you would
I
like
don't.
to win more games in the division than you lose,
I
but
feel like the Ravens, like they're killing it right now, and I feel like they kind of have to win the Super Bowl to make this year worth it because it's like if you look at their cap situation, they're they're kind of in trouble. Like, but what I was getting at is because the AFC or the NFC North, or I'm sorry, AFC North in general,
Mhm,
they just have really good defenses all around, really good pass rushing.
mhm.
Uh, Probably the Bengals is the worst, and that's probably another area where I think they could probably get a little bit better at in terms of
Well,
like
I mean, they need
rushing.
help interior defensive line even more
Well, I
than
think that too. Like
pass
defensive
rush.
tackle, they'll probably have to draft for a defensive tackle, and I think they probably will probably bring back Reader for one more year. I think is like a prove it deal because he probably is going to have to start on the year on the IR
Yeah.
if he doesn't
Well,
miss it
that
during
doesn't
the
help
year.
though. They're gonna have to sign somebody else.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like I think they're going to draft someone and then also bring possibly a Reader late in the year.
Yeah, but I think
That could be a benefit.
they need to sign somebody else too. They need to sign like a starting caliber defensive tackle.
There's that defensive tackle from the Ravens that's kind of having a decent year. I think he's like 26, 27. And
Mhm.
Beakway or I can't think of his name exactly, but I feel like he might be on the radar because like he's kind
Yeah.
of younger and he's kind of hitting his prime.
Yeah. Or maybe you get Hubbard to hit up some Coney crates in the offseason and kick him inside.
Eh, Well, I think that's the thing. We're getting to the point where like I think Hubbard is more of like a specialty player as opposed to like maybe a full time starter. Because it's like you would only want him on the rushing downs and maybe put someone else during the passing downs. Because
Yeah, unless
that's
you
kind
have
of where
him
we're getting hurt.
unless he can play inside. I think
Well,
he can
especially in the
play
AFC
inside.
North, it's just that every team has just a dynamic pass rushers that you kind of
Yeah.
have to match that. But I think the Bengals are also in a position where they have the most to do these core changes in terms of getting younger where they need to get younger, which is I think partly on the defensive line.
Yeah.
They can get a little bit younger and faster and more dynamic, and then
Well,
they just
I mean
need.
they just need a guy that can hold up.
And then there's opportunities where they can upgrade in the interior offensive line, and then of course the tackle. I don't know. It's almost to the point where it's like maybe you do bring back Jonah for another year if you can.
You can't
Uh,
bring him back for a year.
Probably not because I think every
He's
team
gonna
is
get
basically.
he's gonna get 4 or 5 years for
I would
sure.
imagine because most
But
teams want the
but I
solid.
mean this feels off seasony, you know. Let's talk again. Here, let's go back. So let's talk about the playoffs.
Okay.
I mean, Bengals are out. So I mean, personally, I mean, I felt like the season was over the instant that Burrow got hurt. Um, so I think that they exceeded my expectations since Burrow got hurt. So I'm not like super heartbroken about it. I mean, to me, I feel like the team didn't deserve to make the playoffs. I feel like you got to win a division game.
I
And
agree.
if you don't win a game in your division, you're not a playoff team. Just
Yeah, I
not good
mean,
enough.
even with Burrow, right? I I think we make the playoffs. I don't think it's as close as I think some of those games that we missed
Well,
against like
I think you would beat the Steelers twice if you
Steelers.
have Burrow because the thing about the Steelers is they don't care how they win. It's like their organizational mentality, right? Like
Right.
if they come in and it's sort of like you know how the Patriots used to be. I mean, not quite as excessive as the Patriots, but like if they need to run it every single time to beat you, they will. They don't care, right? And the second they figured out that Browning does not react well to the blitz, they just blitzed constantly. And it worked, right?
Well,
even if that's not what they do. They did it because they win, right?
right, and
But
that's kind
that
of
kind of
what I'm
stuff
getting
won't
at.
work against Burrow. You can't be predictable like that.
So hypothetically, if Burrow didn't get hurt,
Hmm.
we probably make the playoffs,
Right.
especially what happens towards the end of this year. But even if we made the playoffs this year, it's kind of like the same situation with Kansas City. It's like, what are we really going to do, right? Because I just feel like with the way our defense is set up, is that they were just giving up too many plays, big plays.
Right. I mean,
Like
it
it
seemed
was,
like the other teams could run at will
yeah,
right up the middle, and then they just wait for DJ Turner to be matched up on someone, send him deep, and hit the big play. Right? It's just like easy.
DJ Turner. It's more woozy. I felt like.
Well, both of them, but I felt like it was more Turner. I mean, especially against the Steelers, it felt like the Steelers targeted Turner, and like that big play that the Chiefs missed
The
today was
second biggest.
Turner.
No.
That
Which
one that Valdez Scantling missed, that was Turner.
but he missed it though.
Well, but
He
it
hammered
was
through.
there. He went through his hands, but I'm just saying, like
Well,
I feel like that's how teams are doing play calling against the Bengals. When they get that matchup, they just go over the top because they know it's open, and it was open,
well,
and they should have hit it, but the receiver dropped the ball.
part of it in you look at the rest of the division is that they sell out for that additional pass rush, and I think that's what we're missing. It's like we need someone that can be just as dynamic as Hendrickson on the other side, just to have that consistent. Because I think that's one of the things.
Not even as good as Hendrickson, because you can't do that. You can't. I mean, the Bengals like struck oil right when they signed Hendrickson. It was
Well,
ridiculous.
I mean, you
There
can
was
get
risk
people
when
that
they
just
signed him.
specialize in pass rushing, but maybe not some of the other things. That's like I think that's kind of why Hubbard's in, is that he does a little bit of everything well,
You need
not
someone that's
necessarily
good.
very
You
dynamic.
need like someone like Clowney, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think Clowney would be, because I think he's going to be available, and I think he's going to outprice himself with the Ravens. But
Yeah, but
that
you need
that's also,
someone that's good at pass rushing.
I think even maybe Zadarius Smith might be available, because like that's another thing that the Browns did early in the seasons. They got him
Hmm.
to match up with Garrett. So like if you look at all the other teams, they have really good pass rush, because Steelers, obviously, they have Watt plus their linebackers. They can
Hmm.
rush really well, or even their interior defensive linemen have always been pretty good at pressuring. Uh,
Yeah.
so they kind of have to do that. They need to find a way to match what the rest of the division's doing in terms of pass rush. So I hope they kind of lean towards that. So a lot of it, I think the offseason really just comes down to like the trenches. Like if you think about offensive line and defensive line.
Yeah, you're already in the offseason. We're still reacting.
But I mean, what else is there to say? I really don't have much to add. I mean, it
Okay.
would be cool if they would have won.
Yeah, not that it would have mattered. I don't think
I mean, it would have
would have
been
been
more of a
out.
moral victory than anything. I mean,
Yeah. The second when all those
I
AFC
don't know.
South teams won today, like I knew the season was over, because like they needed the Steelers to lose today to have a shot. And then the Steelers won. So even if the Bengals won today, the Steelers would be playing against the backups to the Ravens.
Well, we would have been playing the backups to the Browns.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter, because if the Steelers would be in over the Bengals.
Yeah, there would have been a weird way. Well, I don't know. I think it also depend on the Bills. I think the Bills had to lose too.
Well,
They
yeah,
won.
every single thing that needed to happen to eliminate the Bengals happened today.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's why we're
like,
eliminated.
even if they won, they probably wouldn't have made it, because I mean, who knows what's going to happen now? Because I don't think the Steelers need to win next week either. I think they're in, right? No, they still need to win. I don't think so. Well, maybe with the AFC South. I bet you those AFC South teams, it matters.
feel like
Should I pull up the off machine?
yeah, because the Steelers are not even in the playoffs right now. It's the Colts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they
Okay,
have
Steelers are at 28%.
Yeah, I think it's the Colts that need to lose for them to get in. Plus, they need to win, obviously. Which
Yeah. Well, if you okay, so they need to win basically. That's was the point of the whole thing, was saying whether or not they needed to win.
Yeah, they do need to win.
Okay, in the Ravens, it does not matter at all.
Yeah, the Ravens are
So,
clinched.
so you feel like the Steelers are probably going to win that game?
Yeah, yeah, they should. But I can also see it where the backups for the Ravens still somehow win. But
I doubt it. I mean, you know,
I mean, the thing
they're going
is,
to play vanilla. They're not. They're going to play their backups. It's
but they play vanilla really well. I think that's the thing about the Ravens is that
it's true.
they're designed just to beat you one on one. They don't do anything really special. They just beat you one on like straight up. That's
Yeah.
why like if you don't get a lead on them early and maintain it, they're just so hard to beat because like
Mhm.
they're just gonna run it down your throat. And then once they get you into a certain way, that's why the passing game opens up so much. But that game that they had earlier today was just crazy because everyone was making plays. Like likely their backup tight ends like catching one-handed passes and taking it for the touchdown. It's just crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
this should be a really good year for them to win it. I feel like
No. I like I'm rooting for the Browns now because I think it would be awesome if Flacco came in and won the Browns' first Super Bowl.
that would be a really interesting predicament for them. I mean, obviously they'd be happy that they won a Super Bowl, but it'd be
Mhm.
like Flacco would be the quarterback they would actually want to keep, but they can't. Like, there's just no way for them to keep him. Like,
Why? Maybe he's good.
yeah, but is he willing to sign for significantly less because he can get paid there? I doubt it.
Maybe. Maybe he wants to win another. I mean, you never know how people feel if they win a Super Bowl.
I'd say Joe Flacco is probably worth at least 20 million for 1 year.
Yeah. Whatever Aaron
Maybe
Rodgers is
15.
getting.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is getting like technically it was over 50, but I think he restructured it.
But I mean,
Like,
I would think that a team would be willing to pay him Aaron Rodgers money.
I don't know about Aaron Rodgers. I think that would be pushing it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, if you're like a team like the Patriots, I feel like that would be a good fit where
You know,
they just need
well, I think you need to be a team with a good offensive line, but you never know. I mean, maybe Flacco would do the same thing he did this year. Maybe he would just like chill and wait for a team with a good offensive line and a good defense to lose their starter and
well, I
swoop
think I
in
mean
and
really that's what it is. It's just they have a really good defense, solid offensive line.
a
Uh,
good running game.
yeah,
And then if you got a quarterback that knows how to read defenses and get the ball out, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to minimize what Flacco's doing. I think it's a great story. I think it's awesome. And now that the Bengals are out of it, I think it would be awesome if the Browns made a run. I think it would be the coolest way for them to like exercise their demons, you know?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not rooting for any AFC team. It's just hard for me too. So I'm gonna be rooting for the Cowboys or like some
Yeah. Well,
NFC team.
I don't know. See, like I'm
Need
to
to
the
fix this
point.
in for the Cowboys.
I'm to the point now where like I see the NFL like the like the
WWE.
WWE,
Yeah.
man. It's just like, it's just entertainment, man. It's not. I don't see it as. I just think the reffing is so bad that it's just TV. It's just entertainment. It's just something to watch. You know, it's like, uh, I mean, and part of it is that in my opinion, I think the Bengals have like the worst ownership group in the NFL. I think that they fell backwards into getting Burrow and Chase together. Um, and like any bad ownership group, they've failed to make good on it and figure out what to do with it. And instead, they've wasted the first 4 years of his career with just junk offensive line. And then this year they finally got around to addressing it, but it's just like you can't erase all those hits he took. And, I don't have confidence that they'll do the right thing again this offseason. I mean, any mammal with multiple brain cells can see that like what the Bengals should do this offseason is prioritize the offensive line, ensure that they have some good offensive linemen. Number one priority, protect Burrow, right? Number two priority, try to resign Higgins, and then you kind of figure out, you kind of do the best you can with everything else, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially with them missing the playoffs, they're going to be mid-round, so I would imagine they're probably be in a good shot for probably either one of the better guards or like a pretty good tackle in the first round.
Yeah, our team organization has not been able to develop offensive linemen.
Yeah, but you still got to try. Like you can't.
No, you don't. You don't have to try. Absolutely, you do not have to try. Stop. Just, what are you good at? You're good at drafting receivers. You're good at drafting running backs. You're good at drafting cornerbacks.
Then you're in
good
the
at
same
drafting
problem that you're
defensive
always in,
linemen.
that you're complaining about, is that you're not protecting Burrow. The only
Yeah,
true way
have
to
to-
really
you
protect him
have
is that
to-
you got to
you have
develop
to-
some. Eventually, you're
No,
gonna have to develop.
no. Go out and get some professionals.
That's
and
what
pay
they've been
them.
doing literally the last 3 years.
Yeah, they finally did it this year. This year they actually had a good offensive line, and they need to do that again. I mean, really, the development of Cordell Volson, it was the only like black mark on the offensive line. They were actually pretty good, except Volson played like trash for most of the season.
The first quarter, he's actually played a lot better.
Yeah, he's played better, but you don't have. That's what I mean, though. You do not have. You cannot.
Any of
let
the front
Burrow take
three
hits
are
that he
pretty
doesn't
much
need to
upgradable,
take.
either through the draft or through free agency. But I feel like if you're most likely going to sign a free agent from the tackle position.
Yeah,
I feel like you kind of have to do that.
sign a guard. Any position you need, you gotta get a free agent. You gotta get a guy that actually knows how to play. You gotta stop wasting time drafting guys, because the guys they draft don't develop.
Nah, I still think you got because you can do both. You can.
No, stop wasting draft picks.
What are you going to waste them on then?
Like, not offensive linemen. Sign free agents. They're much better at signing free agents. When
I don't know. I think if there's a right tackle that falls down in the draft, that's drafted in the first round, I think you take him. Like, why wouldn't you want to put?
Because the Bengals suck at drafting offensive linemen. They suck at developing offensive linemen. Just stop doing it. Draft a wide receiver.
They developed Andrew Whitworth, Willie Anderson.
Okay.
They've done it in the past. They can do it.
Not this coaching staff. Not this GM.
I don't know. I'm saying you do both. Like you gotta
stop wasting draft picks on offensive linemen.
Not only do you have to have solid starters, you have to have depth, because
pick up depth, get free agents, get real men. Stop drafting kids, because the Bengals suck at identifying offensive line talent in the draft, and they suck at developing it. Like who was the number one backup that they put in to play guard?
Ford.
Where did he come from?
Free agency.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's my point.
Who's the starting guard? Who's the starting right tackle?
Yeah, they're not good.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Jonah is average, maybe slightly above average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stop wasting Burrow's career. Go pay up. Either re-sign Jonah or get somebody better.
I trust them to do whatever makes the most sense. Like I don't think
no, it doesn't make sense to draft a rookie offensive lineman.
It does,
because you cannot let Burrow take the hits he's going to have to take for that guy to learn how to play football.
What if he's actually good though?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
You can't waste 8 weeks of Burrow getting his brains beat in because they throw it 60 times a game and they're trying to develop a rookie tackle. No. He can't take the hits. He's fragile.
I don't know. He's fragile.
He's only finished 1 season.
He's finished 2 seasons.
He's only played every game. How has he ever played a full season?
Yes, 2 full seasons.
No.
Yes.
This season he didn't. Last season, I think he did. The season before, I don't think he did. I
Yes,
think he
yes,
missed
he did.
games.
He played the full season when we made the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship. He missed. He got hurt in the same exact week. His first in this past year, his first year, his rookie year, he got hurt in week 11, and he got hurt in the same week 11 this year.
No. I'd probably just look up his stats, right?
Yeah, 16 and 16. I think 2021 they rested him final week because we
It doesn't count postseason games?
no.
Do you know that?
Why would it count postseason games in the regular season?
It's games played in a year.
Yeah, but this is regular season stats.
How do you know?
Because the regular season. When have they ever added postseason stats to your regular season stats? When has that?
I don't know. If you're looking at games played in a season, I would think you would count career. Or I'm sorry, you would count postseason.
I don't think they count that in career stats. I just never seen.
Joe Burrow. It doesn't look like it's showing what. Okay. So these two things look like they match up. So he's played 2 full seasons and he's missed games in 2 seasons. Right?
Yes.
Played in 52 games in his career. That doesn't even make sense. Why wouldn't it count playoff games? Those are games, right?
Yeah, but it's like a separate category because it's a postseason.
Well, yeah, but that's not what I'm asking.
Well, I mean, it kind of is because you're saying how many games he missed in the season.
Per year? There you go. Pro Football Reference. Okay, playoff. This is right. See, this is better. It tells me regular season playoffs. Okay, so I stand corrected. He did play 2 full seasons, but he missed a lot of games in 2 of the seasons. And then playoff games. 7 playoff games. Okay. I'm just saying they don't have time to break in rookie linemen.
If they're good, they do. Like that's the thing. If they're good,
but they don't have the people on the staff that know what a good college offensive lineman looks like because they've never identified, draft, and developed one.
I mean, they have.
Who?
Their success rate is not that great recently, but they have.
Okay.
I mean, Jonah Williams is probably the most recent.
Yeah,
right?
but when did Jonah Williams got drafted? Did this coaching staff did not draft Jonah Williams?
Okay.
Okay, so they don't get credit for drafting Jonah Williams, and he's not good. He's like okay.
Okay, so but
He was 11th pick overall for like an okay player.
well, we have to replace that okay player. So we either need
Yeah,
to replace him with another okay player, or
either you pay him
okay
as an
player
okay
that
player,
has
or you find
a much
someone
higher ceiling, which
through
is
free agency
possible.
that's better.
Which
What?
I think you can replace Jonah Williams in the draft.
No,
Yes, you can.
there are not.
They have okay. So to your point,
Yes.
if you can't count Jonah Williams to this coaching staff, which I think you can,
Okay.
considering he's never played on the right side in the NFL. However, they never drafted a lineman in the first round, this coaching staff. So maybe this is an opportunity to do that if the right player presents themselves. Like I just there were 2 or maybe 3 people that they could have drafted last year in the first round had they fell to them, right? That would have been just as good as Jonah, or maybe even considered an upgrade.
I don't think so.
Yeah, there was.
Not week 1, maybe by week 16, but not week 1. No. Like rookies take time to get good. They need to figure things out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yes.
Like
There's a learning
what will
curve.
happen? Okay, so here's what will happen, right? Week 1, they'll rush Joe Burrow off of his injury, get him out there to play. And then week 1, they'll put out a
I mean,
rookie
he should
right
be good by
tackle.
March. There shouldn't be any rushing, but yeah.
They'll put out a rookie right tackle, and then they'll throw the ball 50 times. I mean, it's just recipe for disaster.
No, I think
If you insist on throwing the ball 50 times a game, you
I
need to get an elite right tackle.
I can see them, as much as it's gonna suck, I can see them go away from Mixon because like I'm a fan of Mixon, but I could also see them actually doing that because they need a running back that's a little bit more that can provide, like you just can't rely on one person in the backfield to do that. You need to have multiple people that can provide that threat. So I feel like there's many areas where they can get more young or a little bit more dynamic.
You cannot waste salary cap to get Mixon's production. You draft a guy.
Yeah, but there's also free agency too for running backs. Like I feel like if you're looking for any place to
No,
get
you
value
can't.
with free agency,
That's what I'm saying.
it's running back. Like,
Don't spend money on running backs. They're good at drafting running backs.
but you don't have to spend money on running backs. You can literally spend it like
No, it's like $6 million. You can get a running back for like a few $100,000 in the third or fourth round.
Like 2 million or like 3 million. You can
spend it. Spend it on a right tackle. Get yourself a $20 million a year right tackle.
No. If you're gonna spend that much money, you spend that on a left tackle.
Well, you can't because you got your left tackle.
Right. But I just
you gotta get an elite right tackle. Whoever the best right tackle is available, go sign them. Whether that be Jonah Williams or someone else.
I don't think it's gonna be Jonah Williams.
Well, I'm just saying. Point is that you need to save money on running back. You need to save money on other positions.
Running backs don't cost money to begin with, so I don't.
They do cost money if they're free agents. They cost $5 million.
No, they don't.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Mixon only represents a cap savings if they replace him with a rookie. If you sign a free agent, you do not save any money on cutting Mixon.
It's not necessarily about saving space because I mean, if you
save the space and then you get a right tackle and a left guard, and then you kick Volson back to the backup, and then you're good to go.
It's more about getting more production out of a specific part of the game, which it's the running part. But then at the same time, they also need to, if they're going to continue.
If you had an elite right tackle, do you not think that they would get more production out of the running game?
I feel like they need to spend more money on the guard.
Yeah, get that too.
Because
I'm saying spend your money on offensive line and figure it out everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's almost worth it keeping. I don't know. I don't know. Because I mean, if you're willing to keep Jonah for like 10 or 12 or whatever it is, which I doubt, I feel like maybe you might be able to get more in the open market, whatever. But I don't know. I also feel like he's replaceable in terms of talent,
Yeah, to me, the only reason
draft
why you
wise.
would keep the only reason why you would keep Jonah Williams is if you couldn't sign someone better. So to me, it's like, who is the best right tackle? Then go get him. That that's the calculus. Like, you don't need to do anything complicated. It's like, who's the best right tackle? Do what you need to do to get him. Done. And then the second part is, can you sign a guard better than either of our starting guards? If yes, go sign that guy. And then move the other guard to wherever you need to move them to get that guy, And then you're on to the next season. You're ready to go. You want to draft like a 4th or 5th round offensive lineman as a developmental guy, fine. But don't waste a 1st round pick on a guy as a team that can't pick linemen.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a complete list, but the one I'm looking at, a lot of the linemen look older. But I guess
Yeah,
Trip Brown would be a bad
Jonah might
pick.
get the most money of anybody because he's young.
I guess he's still like 27. I think
It's
he's
his
got to be.
second contract, right?
Well, going into a second contract because he's still
Yeah.
technically off his first because they did the
Well, that's
5th
what
year
I'm
option.
saying.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. He'll be getting his second contract. Offensive linemen, some get 3 contracts.
this can't be the list. The one I'm looking at has only got like 8 people.
Yeah, well, it's hard to predict with like salary cap stuff.
Yeah, because
Or trade for a guy. You could trade for somebody, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know who would be trade worthy. Like, who would be worth willing to let go to get someone.
Well, you just trade a second round pick, sign them to an extension. Done. There are all kinds of teams with salary cap issues.
Oh yeah.
The teams that are rebuilding, just find one of those teams and flip them your second round pick and get their right tackle, and then you sign them to an extension.
Yeah, I feel like Ravens, Browns. I think there's like 10 teams that are gonna be in the negative going into next year. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. Not the Ravens, but I think it's the Saints. I think the Saints are like 30 million.
Yeah,
next year already. Somehow I'm like,
yeah. Maybe reach out to the Chargers. To me, it's like you look for a team that's got a new coach, because a new coach is going to want to rebuild, and if you can give them a second round pick, they'd probably listen for most of their players.
It's most likely. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, it's possibly trade for the Chargers, but most likely an NFC team. I feel like.
Yeah, maybe the Raiders. Maybe I don't know. Anyways.
Yep. I think
are we gonna do a prediction show on Wednesday? Prediction stream. Guess we shouldn't call it a show.
Yeah, we could do a prediction one. It's be the last one of the year. Why not?
Yeah.
Or I guess the last one of the season. Technically, this is the last one of the year.
Yeah, it'll be the first one of the year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year's.
Yeah.
All right. See if I can find this thing. All right. Peace.